Well, it wasn't quite an empty chair, but it was definitely an empty suit. Barack Obama was completely and utterly exposed by Mitt Romney last night as the intellectually lazy, far-left lightweight that he is. This was a smackdown, folks, for all of America to see. And if you think the corrupt mainstream media was working overtime for their man Barry before last night, wait till you see what they do over the next 33 days. Get ready. They will go to unheard of lengths, even for them, to try to sway this election in Obama's favor. After Paul Ryan pummels Joe Biden in their debate next week, the Obama team and their media surrogates will start to get desperate. Heck, George Stephanopoulos might spontaneously combust on air. But make no mistake, they will get even more nasty, personal, divisive, and vicious. You haven't seen anything yet, trust me. These people will not go quietly. They have too much invested in their mission to fundamentally transform America. They are committed, die-hard leftist ideologues, and they are not going to just let go of their one golden chance to change this country irreversibly. The next 33 days are going to be an absolute dogfight. And if things start to slip away from Obama, the media will go scorched earth against Romney and Ryan. We should feel good after last night, no question. But fasten your seatbelts. This fight has only just begun. But here's the good news. The emperor has no clothes. The president was completely overmatched and outclassed in every way by Mitt Romney last night. Where Romney looked aggressive, knowledgeable, likable, and sharp, Obama looked annoyed and passive. It was 90 minutes of the same tired, lefty, social justice talking points and anti-business, spreading the wealth nonsense. He literally brought not one original thought to the table. Not one. And man, was he lost without that teleprompter. I mean, you could almost see him pleading for it, couldn't you? Longing for it like a long-lost lover. But it never came. Instead, he was forced to think on his feet. Imagine that. We're all told by the media how brilliant he is, right? Such a thinker, such an intellect. Well, here was his chance to prove it against a worthy adversary. And he failed. Miserably. This wasn't a White House press conference where he could stroll in, take a few softball questions from his mainstream media allies, and then cut out early to hit the golf links. It was just him and Romney. And Jim Lehrer pretty much let them go at it mano a mano. American exceptionalism and free markets took on the European nanny state, and America won. And it wasn't even close. But I have to say, my biggest takeaway from last night was not Obama's debating performance, which was pathetic and lifeless. It was Obama's facial expressions, his body language, his mannerisms. He looked nervous. He looked shell-shocked. He looked angry, petulant. He wouldn't even make eye contact with Romney. And when he did look at him, you could see the visceral dislike and resentment on his face. First of all, Romney represents the hated 1%, the successful, hardworking Americans that Obama is trying to punish and fleece. But second of all, you have to understand this. Barack Obama is a guy who spent his whole adult life hearing how great he is, how smart he is, how he is the mighty left-wing hope. From Columbia University to community organizing to Harvard Law School to Chicago politics, he has spent his entire career in a leftist cocoon with people who think exactly like him. He has rarely had his ideas challenged in any meaningful way. And when some mere mortal confronts him with confidence, passion, and facts, like Paul Ryan did during the healthcare debate, or Mitt Romney did last night, or Benjamin Netanyahu did in the Oval Office last year, Obama can't take it. He gets defensive. He unravels. You can literally see it on his face. You know, speaking of Netanyahu, the foreign policy debate is scheduled for October 22nd, and boy, does Romney have some openings there. Here's one that you probably haven't heard about. The Obama administration recently selected a guy named Salam al-Mariyati to represent the U.S. government at a human rights conference in Warsaw, Poland. The 10-day event was supposed to promote tolerance. The problem is, Mr. al-Mariyati is a very intolerant guy. He's the founder of a group called the Muslim Public Affairs Council, MPAC for short. MPAC is an Islamist organization that marches to the radical tune of the Muslim Brotherhood. MPAC has lobbied to have Hamas and Hezbollah removed from the U.S. list of terrorist organizations. As a matter of fact, President Obama's friend, Salam al-Mariyati, has called attacks by Hezbollah against Israel legitimate resistance. Remember, this is the same Hezbollah that has killed more Americans than any terrorist group other than al-Qaeda. Even worse, al-Mariyati appeared on a Los Angeles radio show on September 11, 2001, as the Twin Towers were still smoldering, and said the following about who he thought may have been behind the 9/11 attacks. He said, if we're going to look at suspects, we should look to the groups that benefit the most from these kinds of incidents. And I think we should put the state of Israel on the suspect list, because I think this diverts attention from what's happening in the Palestinian territories so the Israelis can go on with their aggression and occupation and apartheid policies. Now, that was Salam al-Mariyati's instant gut reaction to 9/11. Yet, the Obama administration is using him as a representative at human rights conferences overseas, in Warsaw no less, the site of an infamous Nazi-imposed Jewish ghetto during World War II. As we showed you here on the Blaze TV, in the groundbreaking documentaries Rumors of War III and The Project, Salam al-Mariyati is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to radical Islamist infiltration of this White House. Oh, and by the way, MPAC and al-Mariyati are also very tight with, you guessed it, George Soros, our old friend. In August, MPAC held a town hall conference call with the Soros-funded Center for American Progress and the ultra-left Southern Poverty Law Center to fight against, quote, the real impact of hate in America. Does that include, I don't know, supporting Hezbollah? So, MPAC, shortly after this town hall with Soros's group, releases a report exposing what it calls America's top 25 pseudo-experts on Islam. And I have to say, I'm honored to be on the list. Thanks, fellas. General Jerry Boykin and Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, good friends of the Blaze, are also on the list. So are three of my guests who you'll see a bit later in this program. MPAC's case against us? Well, we don't have degrees in Islamic studies. No, really. That's why we supposedly are not qualified to talk about Islamic issues. So, General Jerry Boykin, who fought radical jihadists on the battlefield and is a decorated war hero, is not qualified. Neither is Zuhdi Jasser, a practicing Muslim. As for me, I may not have learned about Islamic jihad from a Marxist, anti-American college professor, but I have interviewed face-to-face current and former members of some of the world's most notorious Islamist groups, including al-Qaeda, Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood, Hizb ut-Tahrir, the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, and al-Muhajirun. I've spent hours with some of them, charming fellows. I've also spent time in mosques and Islamic enclaves throughout America and Europe and interviewed lawmakers and intel officials from the U.S., EU, and Israel about these issues. But not qualified. Look, these are classic smear tactics used by the left. It's no coincidence the Islamists at MPAC came out with this garbage just 1 year after Soros's Think Progress released a similar report called Fear Incorporated. It named Glenn, Sean Hannity, myself, and others as Islamophobes. Glenn is right. Islamists and leftists are working together to silence us and discredit us. But it won't work. Governor Romney, please hit the president on the Muslim Brotherhood early and often on October 22nd. And while you're at it, hit him on this. And this. And definitely hit him on this.